Hi, how you doing? Today we're going to talk about Mercury, and I'm just going to dive right in because I only got 10 minutes to talk, and I don't know if that's enough time. So, Mercury governs how we think and how we communicate. It's our thought processes, our ideas, sensory information, and the understanding and coordination of these mental functions. In today's society, we're actually seeing people's Mercury energy before we see anything else because almost all of our communication is done through email, texting, messaging, and social media. And that's all Mercury stuff, as opposed to when you meet somebody in person and you're seeing their ascendant and sun energy first. Positive Mercury influences are inquisitive and curious, communicative, and versatile. But negative Mercury influences can make us very nervous and anxious and nitpicky, indecisive, and overly technical. When we're looking at the sign that Mercury is in, we're looking at how we communicate. When we look at the house Mercury is in, that's which areas of our life that we give a lot of thought to. And the planets that aspect Mercury in our natal chart affect how we communicate and what we communicate about. Heavy Mercury in a chart implies somebody that's very witty and intellectual and very curious about everything. Fun fact about Mercury, it's so close to the sun that it's never more than one sign away from the sign that the sun is in. And since it's the fastest moving planet in our solar system due to that, that's very interesting since it is what reflects our thoughts, which is the fastest part of our consciousness. Gemini is the first of two signs that Mercury rules over, and it expresses Mercury's domain through a mutable air signature. And so that makes Gemini very concerned with social bonds and communication. It's represented by the twins, and that's where Gemini gets its dual personality stereotype from, but that's because they're very adaptable and flexible. They're very curious and they love collecting information and sharing it with people, and they have a strong urge for self-expression. Their ability to quickly adapt to new situations allows them to gain new friends quickly, but they can get easily bored if they don't get enough mental stimulation. Due to Gemini's ability to be adaptive, they can adopt the moods of those around them, and they detach themselves very easily. So they're very objective and observant, and though they have a lot of friends, they often have difficulty becoming close with others and showing intimacy. The third house is ruled by Gemini, and it reflects our early environment and how we learn to communicate and socialize through it. So that encompasses our siblings, our cousins, aunts and uncles, our neighbors, our classmates, our elementary through high school education. These early life experiences are the social circles we first have outside of our parents in childhood. And it's also the kind of education we received and how we learned to communicate. And these experiences are important. They're memories that become integral to our adult life and our personality. The third house also represents short trips and transportation and the devices used to connect with others in nearby places. So that's like cars, bikes, phones, computers, letters, emails, texts. All of this stuff is third house domain when you're looking in a chart. The second sign that Mercury rules over is Virgo, and it expresses Mercury's domain through a mutable earth signature. So as opposed to Gemini being focused on social connections, Virgo is focused on tangible tasks. It's the coordination side of Mercury as opposed to the communication side of Mercury. It's represented by the Virgin. And so Virgos are all about striving for perfection in what they set their minds to. They're very self-sufficient and respectable, and they have a strong sense of responsibility. Virgo strives to have a project they can focus on, and without one, they can experience a feeling of discontent. I have a Virgo brother, and he has recently been struggling a lot with not having a task that he can really focus on, and it's just been driving him insane. But luckily, he's found himself a new task to master, and he's doing a lot better because of it. Virgo can be very restless and nervous, and they have a huge fear of underperforming. They don't like it when people see the projects they're working on before they're finished. They desire to do things well, and so they're very meticulous in their tasks. Virgo is very connected to the body and its needs. They're very focused on their health, and this can manifest as hypochondria. Because Virgo they can be worrisome. They can become very anxious and nervous about things. They're attracted to things that are natural and pure and nature itself. But they're very concerned overall with their health, their job performance, and any unfinished tasks they have, because they're perfectionists by nature. They long for mastery, and this can go in one of two ways. They can either really hone in on one or two things that they're really passionate about and just become absolute masters of that. Or they can become somebody that really focuses on one task, but then moves on to another task and leaving unfinished projects behind them until they find that thing that really speaks to them. But what's interesting is both of the signs that are ruled by Mercury, you see, they have that strong curiosity in them, but they just reflect it in very different ways. And finally, we have the 6th house, which is the house that is affiliated with Virgo, and it reflects the task-oriented nature by covering our daily routine of our lives. It's the cogs of the machine that make our lives function. Our daily affairs, our day job, our services, chores, habits, our health, nutrition, fitness, and self-care. This is all 6th house stuff. It represents how we handle daily problems when they crop up and how we organize things. It's how you serve others as an employee, or just if you're somebody that takes care of people. It's your relationship with your coworkers. It's how you treat those who serve you if you're an employer yourself, or, waiters at a restaurant and stuff like that. The 6th house also reflects your health and how you maintain it, where the 1st house represents our physical bodies themselves. The 6th house is how we maintain our bodies and how we care for it. And it's really important to pay attention to the sign that's on your 6th house cusp, because that can show you parts of your body that are more vulnerable to illness and need special care. Like, for example, I have a Taurus 6th house, and so like my shoulders and my back is something that I have to really focus on and take a lot of extra care of. But it also reflects our food tastes we have and our eating habits. And another interesting reflection of the 6th house is Virgo's connection with nature. That shows in the 6th house as small animals and our relationship to them, what kind of pets we like to have. So that about covers it. And with 1 minute to spare. So where's your Mercury at? And another interesting thing is your Mercury in retrograde in your natal chart? Because if you have a retrograde Mercury, you can find that communicating with people can be very difficult for you all the time. Like, I have a retrograde Mercury and in my natal chart, and I find that I have a hard time expressing what I'm trying to say to people, or they misunderstand me, or I misunderstand them. And with these videos that I do, dear Lord, I have to take multiple takes just to get what I'm trying to say across in an efficient way. Though maybe that's my Virgo midheaven making me really want to make sure these videos are perfect. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.